In the years since Harry Potter's story ended, J.K. Rowling has revealed a whole lot more about the world she created, occasionally stirring up a little controversy along the way. Here are the biggest revelations Rowling has shared with fans since finishing the Harry Potter books. It's pretty much a hard rule that any fantasy epic that follows the hero's journey has got to have an old wise man present to teach the young protagonist how to overcome their hurdles and challenges. Of course, Harry Potter is no exception. Enter Albus Dumbledore, the headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, who begins the series watching over the orphaned infant Harry from a distance and eventually becomes a major parental figure for the character during their shared time at Hogwarts. Even after Dumbledore dies in Half-Blood Prince, his shadow looms large all the way through to the final moments of the series. Now, there's plenty Harry doesn't know about Dumbledore, but one facet of his character couldn't have been guessed by even the sharpest of readers. In 2007, Rowling revealed that Dumbledore was gay, and though fans knew he had a close friendship with the wizard Grindelwald in his younger days, most fans didn't take that to mean that the two were more than friends. Though Dumbledore's orientation never needed to be addressed by the story, this was still quite a surprise for fans, who could now look at the character in an entirely new light. Rowling even claims to have clued in one of the film's screenwriters to this reveal, nixing a would-be Dumbledore line about an old female flame. After dropping the big bombshell about Dumbledore's sexuality, Rowling waited nearly 10 years to push the issue again, ahead of the release of the second film in the Potter spin-off series, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Both Rowling and director David Yates faced serious backlash over comments made by Yates stating that Dumbledore's sexuality wouldn't be directly addressed in the second Fantastic Beasts movie, The Crimes of Grindelwald, despite the fact that the antagonist of the film was famously known as Dumbledore's lover. On the movie's Blu-ray release, Rowling followed up the controversy by announcing that the two had indeed engaged in an extremely intense physical relationship. But this reveal didn't come without its controversy, with Rowling's comments raising some important questions about representation. After all, what does it say to LGBTQ fans that Dumbledore fell in love with a murderous villain and then possibly lived in celibacy for the remainder of his life? And why is that representation found only on a Blu-ray special feature rather than within the story itself? All in all, this particular reveal sent a more muddled and confusing message than Rowling likely intended. One of the most fascinating acts of magic in the entire wizarding world is the Patronus charm, a difficult and advanced spell which summons a magical protector that seems to come from inside a wizard's own spirit. Harry first discovers his Patronus in Prisoner of Azkaban, where it takes the form of a stag, in honor of Harry's late father James, who could transform into that same animal. After the story officially ended, fans wanted to know about the Patronuses of their favorite characters, from Hermione's otter to Luna Lovegood's rabbit. But one revelation about a truly beloved character was particularly tragic. When asked what Patronus might belong to Hogwarts groundskeeper Rubeus Hagrid, Rowling responded that Hagrid wasn't able to produce the spell at all, likely thanks to his wrongful expulsion from Hogwarts as a teenager. This wasn't Rowling's only Patronus revelation either. The author also noted that Severus Snape was the only Death Eater who could summon a Patronus, since he was the only member of the evil group with his soul still intact.
After all this time. Always.
Harry Potter fans still have plenty of lingering questions about the wizarding world, and to her credit, Rowling has answered many of them, but she has also answered a few questions nobody ever asked. Despite bathrooms playing a weirdly significant role in the series, fans weren't exactly clamoring to find out how wizards got along before the days of indoor plumbing. Even so, Rowling was on hand to clear that one up, so to speak. In early 2019, a tweet from Harry Potter website Pottermore revealed a pretty unexpected fact about the wizarding world. Apparently, before wizards began using Muggle-style plumbing, they basically just went right on the floor, and then got rid of it using a Vanishing spell. Weirdly enough, this wasn't actually new information either. Pottermore had previously revealed this in a 2015 essay on the website, but the 2019 tweet caused far more of a stir, with many fans wondering why it even needed to be said. Every long-running series needs an iconic villain, and Voldemort clearly fit the bill for Harry Potter. After trying to kill Harry as an infant and nearly perishing himself, Voldemort spends the rest of his life on a mission to defeat Harry once and for all. When Harry hears a prophecy about the two in Order of the Phoenix, he realizes that he can't avoid his fate.
For neither can live while the other survives.
After destroying Voldemort's Horcruxes and sacrificing himself to defeat the evil wizard, Harry is finally able to best Voldemort once and for all, taking down one of the most nefarious and murderous wizards the world has ever seen. In fact, Voldemort was so nefarious and murderous that most wizards refused to even speak his name. Instead, many of them simply referred to him as "he who must not be named," or "you know who."
Voldemort.
As it turns out, however, even those bold enough to say Voldemort have been getting it all wrong. In 2015, Rowling revealed she always meant Voldemort to be pronounced in the French fashion with a silent T, Voldemort, since the name itself means flight of death, referring to the Dark Wizard's own fear of death. Pretty much everyone has actually been pronouncing it incorrectly, from the fans to the films themselves. Hermione Granger has served as an inspiration to brilliant and bookish children ever since her introduction in the first book in the series. Though she initially comes off as a frustrating know-it-all to Harry and Ron, Hermione quickly becomes one of the series' most virtuous and likable characters.
Mental, that one, I'm telling you.
Heralded as the brightest witch of her age, Hermione's love of learning and quick thinking set her apart from other students, even earning her a valuable and powerful time turner in her third year at Hogwarts. Hermione's ingenuity serves the trio particularly well in Deathly Hallows, when she secretly packs all of their most valuable belongings into a tiny beaded evening bag, which she has bewitched to hold an enormous amount of objects. Though this magical object proves crucial in the final push to defeat Voldemort, it turns out that Hermione actually broke wizarding law by putting an extension charm on the bag, although she was never taken to task for it. Probably because people had bigger things on their mind. Even after the Harry Potter series ended, the concept of sorting has played a big role in the post-Potter world, with pretty much every Potter fan out there sorting themselves into one of Hogwarts' 4 personality-based houses. Whether you're a brave Gryffindor, a hardworking Hufflepuff, a brilliant Ravenclaw, or a cunning Slytherin, most fans know which house they identify with the most. And when Pottermore debuted in 2011, it featured the first ever definitive sorting quiz, written by Rowling herself. For most people, sorting is fairly straightforward. Still, Rowling used Pottermore to reveal the concept of a Hatstall, which happens when a person who shares traits that fit into multiple houses causes the sorting hat to get stuck on where to place them, sometimes for more than 5 minutes. Even though the hat struggled with Harry, Harry isn't considered a Hatstall. Hermione nearly was, as the hat struggled to choose between Gryffindor and Ravenclaw. His classmate Neville Longbottom's long sorting process, meanwhile, came down to a fight between Neville and the hat over whether or not he was brave enough for Gryffindor. Spoiler alert, he was. As it turns out, however, Harry actually did know 2 Hatstalls. His Transfiguration professor, Minerva McGonagall, and his parents' own personal Judas, Peter Pettigrew. Both ended up in Gryffindor, after nearly ending up in Ravenclaw and Slytherin, respectively. Fans have asked plenty of questions about Hogwarts itself over the years, but one particular issue seems to have weighed heavy on their minds. What do students actually do before they enroll at the school? Since students don't start Hogwarts until they hit 11 years of age, many fans wondered what young magical children did before their 7-year schooling career began. In an interview with Time after the book series came to a close, Rowling answered several remaining questions about the books, and one revelation cleared up this exact question. During the interview, Rowling confirmed that young wizarding children are homeschooled. Since many younger witches and wizards have trouble controlling their magic and must be kept at home so they don't reveal themselves to muggles by mistake. Before Harry learns that he's a wizard and starts attending Hogwarts, he spends 11 miserable years living with his Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon, as well as their son, Dudley. The Dursleys all despise Harry and treat him terribly, even forcing the orphan to sleep in a spider-ridden cupboard under the stairs. It's later revealed that Petunia was jealous of her sister's magical ability, despite frequently calling Lily a freak. Her detestable husband Vernon is equally incensed by the magical world, with the two of them swearing that they'll never let Harry be a wizard, until Hogwarts eventually intervenes.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Even with the specter of magic hanging over them, it's still a bit baffling that Vernon and Petunia would be so angry and resentful to a small child. Rowling eventually revealed that issues between the Dursleys and Harry's parents went all the way back to a double date gone wrong, during which James antagonized the Dursleys to the point of no return. As he grows up, Harry's growing resemblance to his father infuriates the Dursleys, and Uncle Vernon in particular. One of the strangest figures that lives within Hogwarts walls has got to be Moaning Myrtle, the ghost of a young girl killed by the basilisk that resides inside the Chamber of Secrets. Clearly, Myrtle has had some trouble letting go, since she haunts the very bathroom where she died, and she spends her time wreaking havoc, haunting students and generally being kind of annoying. Thanks to this, Myrtle is generally considered one of the school's least liked ghosts. At one point, Rowling decided to reveal Myrtle's full name, which was previously unknown to readers. Taking to Twitter, the author announced that Myrtle's name is actually Myrtle Elizabeth Warren, though she was quick to disavow any relation between Hogwarts' weirdest ghost and the accomplished American senator. While the books were still being written, die-hard fans engaged in constant arguments about Hermione's love life, hotly debating whether she should end up with Harry or Ron. By the time the later books in the series came around, however, it had become relatively clear in which direction Rowling was leaning.
Hermione's got nice skin, wouldn't you say? As skin goes, I mean.
I've never really thought about it, but I suppose, yeah. I think I'll be going to sleep now.
Right.
In the end, she paired Hermione with Ron, capitalizing on their years of tension and many differences. Harry, meanwhile, ended up with Ginny, Ron's feisty and talented younger sister. However, Rowling has since changed course, saying she wished Hermione had ended up with Harry after all. She claimed that the relationship between Ron and Hermione was simply a form of wish fulfillment for her, vindicating some fans while infuriating others. For fans who love the fiery, intense relationship between Ron and Hermione, however, this felt like a total betrayal by Rowling. To date, this incident is counted as one of the most famous examples of Rowling making an unnecessary reveal, one that many fans wish she had kept to herself. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.